I want to share with you the depth of my personal conviction, why it all means so much to me. When my father died 2 years ago, while preparing his eulogy, I read his World War II memoir, and the critical passage goes like this. On December 16th, 1944, in the Ardennes forest, the early morning before dawn was frigid cold, when 2,000 artillery guns bombarded my father's position, bringing terror for all and agony for too many. And after 4 days of fighting, his entire battalion was gone. They were killed, or wounded, or captured. In what we all know as the Battle of the Bulge, Private First Class Joseph T. Salerno earned a Bronze Star, a Purple Heart, and 4 months of captivity and torture. He was 19 years old. And in my adult life, as I came to appreciate the magnitude of his sacrifice and the sacrifice of everyone who's put themselves in harm's way for this country, I searched for justification for all of that suffering. I could only find one answer. It's in the then radical ideals that accompanied the founding of this nation. That we are a government of laws, not of kings or churches, and that we are all equal under those laws, that none of us are less than, and that we each possess the liberty to live our lives exactly as we please, so long as we do not intrude on the liberty of others to do the same. These are important, consequential ideas. They are not, as J.D. Vance puts them, abstractions. It is what it means to be an American. It's not in our blood or our bones. It's not in the soil. It's not in religion. It's in the liberal democratic tradition that's been defended by brave Americans like my father for almost 250 years. And if you don't think those democratic traditions are in peril, I want us to all think about what we have seen from Donald Trump lately. He repeats over and over that the last election was stolen, and he won't accept bad results this time, no matter what's written in our laws, even if they're found in the Constitution. He jokes about being dictator for a day. He borrows logic from segregationists when he says that the federal government lacks the authority to stop states from trampling on our fundamental freedoms, that we have to stand idly by while states force women to bear children of their rapists. And he provokes white supremacists when he calls immigrants vermin who are poisoning the blood of our nation. And he teases Christian nationalism and flouts our commitment to the separation of church and state by selling Trump-branded Bibles, by promising to bring back his ban on Muslims, by vowing to bring Christianity back, because in his make-believe world of grievance, Christians are under siege by we Democrats. And worst of all, he incites violence again by calling January 6th convicts, hostages, and political prisoners, and he predicts bedlam and a bloodbath should he fail to get reelected. To call all of this un-American is simply insufficient. This is the very definition of a tyrant. This is not conservatism. This is anti-American in the tradition of Huey Long, Joe McCarthy, and George Wallace. Yet nothing has stopped Trump. Not the Senate, not the courts, certainly not today's Republican Party. We are headed to another close presidential. We're either going to have another 4 years of Trump, this time with him fully prepared to execute on his Project 2025 authoritarian agenda. Or we're going to have another January 6th, this time with his black-shirted mercenaries standing back and standing by, waiting for the Trump signal to act. Either way, we are going to need a strong Congress. If Harris wins, we're going to need a strong Congress simply to protect the results of the election. And if Trump wins, we're going to need a strong Congress to resist the excesses of the newly crowned authoritarian-in-chief. So it comes down to this. What can we do about it? Right here in South Jersey. Can't change the stakes in the presidential very much. Our 14 electors are safely going to the first female president of the United States, Kamala Harris. And frankly, we can't change much the stakes in the Senate because swapping Andy Kim for Bob Menendez doesn't make it any less likely that the Republicans win that majority. But this congressional, this might just be the seat we need to take to flip the House. And that's the why. That's why you and I have to make defeating Van Drew a priority, a necessity. And we know we can do that. We have the plan if we choose to do so